And we're back. Week 3 has come to a close. And we're off to the races. I had a pretty good week, but I had a rough morning. I weighed myself this morning, and I was the exact same weight that I was last week. But then I realized that I hadn't peed yet, so I peed, and I was 1.5 pounds lighter. So I'm down 1.4 pounds. I'm down to 208.2.
This morning I was 159.2, and I started from week 1. It was 163.8, I believe.
163.8. Nice. Yeah, so I definitely feel like I was I think it was a midweek's recording that we did where I was like, I kind of did the math. Remember, I did the math. I'm realizing
you
how
had
much
the breakthrough, right?
the deficit I needed to be at.
Yeah.
Like I thought a 200 calorie deficit was going to be enough to get me like to my goals, and then I realized that like actually
Did you adjust that this week?
I
like
need
with
to
the
be
keto?
more like 500 or 600
Yeah.
deficit to get to my goals. And yeah, I adjusted that. I think that recording was like we did that wasn't the Monday recording. I think we
No,
did
it
like
was
a
a- it
mini
was-
a Thursday, right?
It was like a third. No, it was a Friday. It was a Friday.
Was it Friday?
Yeah, it was a Friday.
So it was only 3 days ago that we did that one.
You might be right. It might have been a Thursday.
So anyway, that was like a huge deal for me because basically I started changing I pretty much left everything else in order of my diet except my like dessert at the end of the day. I cut it basically like in half. So I cut it from like 600 calories to like 250.
Oh, wow.
So instead of having like 2 scoops of cottage cheese and 2 scoops of yogurt, I have like 1 scoop of cottage cheese, 1 scoop of yogurt, and I completely am not eating the keto cereal anymore, which was like 250 calories of just that cereal.
Yeah.
And the berries, I'm still having the same amount of berries. So I'm having probably like 100 calories of yogurt, 100 calories of cottage cheese, and like 100 calories of berries.
I have to try that because I'm eating yogurt now, but I haven't tried like the cottage cheese.
I like mixing it. I like cottage cheese better than yogurt. Yogurt's a little bit too sweet for me. I'm not. The sweetness is whatever. The berries, I love the sweetness from the berries, but the sweetness from the.
What are you eating? Black blueberries?
I'm eating a few strawberries, a few blueberries, and a few blackberries,
Okay.
and it's great. Berries are supposed to be really good for you.
Yeah. Right now, in the beginning, trying to make it as simple as possible when it comes to like my preparation for food. So I have like my first meal, I'm having like one of those meal replacement shakes, and it's made it a lot easier because I was for a few months I would say I was eating like through Uber Eats every day. So I'm still getting used to like, all right, I gotta prepare my own food.
Yeah, I actually had a call with a chef this week, a high-end chef. He does meal prep, but it's $40 a meal, so it's way too high for 3 meals a day. I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of egregious. But I finally got the macros from the food in the gym. I DM'd them on Instagram and asked them like what the macros are for the food boxes that I get because I eat 2 of those a day. And actually, it's a little bit lower than I thought. It's about 550 calories, 600 calories per meal, and I'm having 2 of those.
Okay.
So I'm having 1,200 in those meal preps, and then
that's pretty good. 500 is pretty good for like something.
Yeah, it's just basically rice and protein and like a teeny bit of vegetables.
Yeah.
It's like about 180 calories worth of rice. Probably it's about a cup. It's probably 1 cup exactly, and then like a full size serving of protein.
What is it? White rice, brown rice?
They do different ones. So sometimes, like today, I think it was yellow rice. Sometimes it's white. Sometimes it's brown. It's basically, and then like a teeny bit of vegetables, and then just like a full size, and then like 400 calories of like chicken or fish or ground turkey or ground beef. So that's about 1,200 calories. Those 2 meals that I'm having. I'm actually having more protein shakes now. I still think they can play a good role because they can get your protein up really easily. And I'm making sure to have like the not there's I think some that have like 300 calories. That's probably way too much. But like
Yeah.
the one I just had here and the one I had this morning in the gym, they're both like 160.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I think anywhere between like 150 to 200 is good if you're gonna get like 30-ish or more grams of protein.
yeah, it's solid. It's a solid way to like buy 2 or 3 hours
Yeah,
and not have to eat,
yeah,
and keep your protein up. So one or two protein shakes, two food boxes, and then like my dessert, I'm right around 2,000 calories, and I think that my maintenance is 2,500. So I think for right now, I think I'm going to try and keep that schedule for this whole week
yeah, and just see how the weight
and
plays out.
kind of see how it goes.
Yeah,
Be really strict with that. That's been, for me, the biggest breakthrough, two things. The biggest breakthrough was that just doing the fucking math
yeah,
on realizing that my deficit needed to be 500 calories. For some reason in my head, I thought 500 was like a massive, like really trying to overdo it. And I feel pretty good in a 500 calorie deficit. Um, I don't feel like I'm starving,
like
or
drained
like I
or.
don't feel like, I know some people say that like it's really hard to sleep when you're in a huge
Mhm.
deficit. I feel like 500 is actually pretty reasonable.
I think like if as long as it doesn't affect like your strength training, you should be fine.
Yeah. So that's an issue that I might have to toy around with at some point in the challenge, because I love training in the morning fasted.
Yeah,
Um, and I know that people have told me like it's probably not optimal. Like you should probably have a teeny bit of protein and some carbs. Like just if you had like a half a serving of chicken or
yeah,
red meat and some white rice, it would be probably great. But for cutting, I think it's probably okay. And what I used to be doing, which I think is a double whammy that's probably not good, is I would train fasted and I would do cardio and I would still wait.
oh,
Amazing. Yeah, so sorry, we just had a power outage, but we could have just filmed through. We didn't realize it. So now we know for next time. But what I've been doing, I think I've been doing too many things that are suboptimal for muscle. Um, I've been training fasted and doing cardio right after training,
yeah,
and then doing sauna and cold shower. So like I'm training at 8:30 to 9:30, and then I'm not eating any. I wasn't eating anything until like 1 o'clock,
yeah,
which is like way too long. So now, like for what I'm starting to do today is I'm still training fasted,
yeah.
but right after my training, I had a protein shake, and then I did like a very short just walk, 10-minute walk and phone call just to catch up on morning work stuff. And then an hour later, I had a small meal,
Hmm.
rice and protein. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do my real cardio and sauna and cold shower now, later, like after my work day. So we'll see how that works. I don't know. I like the 2 a days mentality, so we'll see how it goes.
Like for me, like a 2-day fast, most people won't do it.
Yeah.
For me, it's something I enjoy. And when I was cutting, like, say, like the last like 10 pounds in that transformation I did a few years ago, I like every 2 weeks, I just did a 2-day fast. And there's a lot of
While
help.
you were doing a long-term diet, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So my like second month, the last 2 weeks, that's what I did. The last 3 or 4 weeks, I did that. Like I did Saturday and Sunday, I didn't eat, and then back on Monday, I would eat something and then go work out. And that helped a lot because like without eating 2 days, like I'm cutting down my average on calories.
And doing it on Saturday and Sunday is huge too, because those are the days that are always the worst.
Yeah, those
So
are
if
the
you could
days where
just
I'm
be like, no, I'm
tempted.
not eating on the weekend, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that helped back then because there was certain times where I wasn't dating anyone. I was talking to someone, but I remember during that time there was a few UFC fights. And normally with UFC fights, I'll go to like sports bar with my friends, and then there's easy temptation there to have like a
Yeah.
drink or two, eat some fries or some and some fried foods.
Yep.
So when I was going out, I did go out, but I just didn't consume anything because I was on the fast. Obviously, when you're in that situation, your friends are like poking fun of you a little bit. They're trying to like, hey, look at him eating this chicken and eating these fries. But I was like so dialed in because I knew it was like, okay, I have like 3 weeks left, and I know just adding this hack will help. And it did. Like I dropped an extra like I think 4 or 5 pounds.
I think that's a huge hack. Not eating anything is a lot, I think in a lot of situations is a lot easier than trying to eat like something super clean.
You're fasting, like there's like a mental clarity, which I've experienced when I've done like a 7-day fast,
Yep.
where it's like after, I think it was after the third day, I was like no longer feeling like hungry or even thinking about food, but like my mental clarity was on such another level that whatever I was working on, it was just focused on, and I was like laser focused in that. So when I was doing this 2 days fast, that's what I was just thinking about. I wasn't even like thinking about food. And since I already like during that end of that phase, I was kind of used to the 2 day fast. So the first one was a little shaky because I did it during like a UFC event with my friends. We were at a sports bar. But after that, there was also like a boxing fight the following week, and I nailed it. I felt perfectly fine. I was just drinking water. And yeah, so that's for me. It's like a hack I'll probably do near, maybe a month, 2 or 3 if I feel like I'm lagging a little bit, because like I did set maybe like a 20-pound goal. Oh, geez.
Yeah, at least we know it doesn't matter this time.
Yeah. So
Hopefully.
yeah, it should be fine. Here we go. Power outage again.
Power outage.
We're still going.
I think there's a storm
Okay,
in Miami. So yeah, so you're using when did you do your first fast? Because I've done one. I've never gone to sleep completely fasted. I can do a 24-hour fast, so I can have dinner at 7 o'clock one night, and I can definitely easily just not eat anything until 7 o'clock the next night. And I'm pretty sure that I could go to sleep, but I just haven't done it. I might actually try it.
Yeah, you just have to just be like really well hydrated. So sometimes people make mistakes of just only drinking water, but you should have electrolytes because that helps huge. When I was only drinking water, I've always, my whole life, I've suffered from like migraines. It's just something like medically that's always been an issue with me.
Yeah.
I've gone to the doctor in the past and they say I'm fine. I've ran like hundreds of MRIs, and for whatever reason, it's something I suffer from that they can't really figure out why. But yeah, so like the biggest difference for me that made fasting a lot easier was like having like two of those like electrolyte packets.
Not even that hard, right? Like for me, if I'm used to doing 24 hours without eating, do you think I'll even struggle to like, do you think it'll be hard?
I think it's just like when you kind of like time it. I timed it where
I already know what I'm going to do it because I know
Yeah.
I'm going to do it when my wife takes the boys to Disney.
Okay.
And I could just work all day, have caffeine, have electrolyte water,
Yeah.
and then play poker in the afternoon when I would normally be getting really hungry. I'll play poker for a few hours until I'm exhausted, and I'll just go home and go to sleep.
Once you hit that limit that you're used to, let's say 24 hours, then obviously that's when you're going to start like feeling hungry. So if you can like do something that's going to distract you, poker is perfect for you.
Your body tries to signal you to eat and you just ignore it and then it goes away. Is that because that's how it is during like a small fast?
Yeah, that's
for
how it
me.
is. Like for example, when I did the 7-day fast, the first 2 days was easy for me because I've already done 1 to 2 days.
Yeah.
At that point, like so many times. So when I felt like the biggest difference was the third day, I was just going crazy.
Hungry?
Oh man, it's crazy. It's still recording, but
Yeah, there's definitely some issue here. But
yes, I was talking about fasting. So the third, fourth day was like the most difficult for me. But after that, like after,
what was the you did a week?
I did 7 days. Yeah, a little.
That
over
was this
7
one you're
days.
talking about?
Yeah.
You've only done it once, or you've done it more than once?
I've done a 7-day once, but I've done a 3 to 4 day fast like 3 times. And 2-day fast I've done, I can't even count how many times, but I've done it so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like when I did the 7-day fast, the third and fourth day, that's like the most difficult. Like you were saying, it kept coming in waves every 4 hours.
And it only lasts like an hour, right? The wave?
Then I think it was like the fourth day when I woke up, I felt pretty drained like mentally. But then I don't know, like the fourth day, midday, I just like had a breakthrough and my body just didn't crave food at all. And I had like this crazy, like if I was on Adderall or something, this like mental clarity where I just felt like zoned in. My body felt light, and I just felt like a little jittery, but I had like energy, and it was crazy because I never experienced anything like that. Like off drugs, even with drugs, I haven't, because I've never done Adderall. I've just heard about it, but that's how I felt.
You just felt like locked in?
Yeah, I just felt locked in, and then I realized like how much time that you kind of think about food during the daytime. Like, okay, especially when you're cutting or whatever, you're focused on my breakfast. I got to make sure my macros, when am I going to eat? I got to avoid this social setting. But when I, like that 4th, 5th, 6th day and 7th day, I was just like, wow, I spent so much time of the day thinking about my food.
That's, I think, one of the things that I'm really being adamant about now is I'm trying really hard to not like just sit still.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to be engaged in activities pretty much 24/7. Just because it makes it so much easier to not think about food and make mistakes when it comes to eating. So
Yeah.
I'm going from the gym to the office to back to the gym to the casino to play cards to take the boys on an activity
Hmm.
to get a massage. You know what I mean? Like not just sitting at home laying on the couch. Like for example, in the past, let's say I had like 3 hours to kill, right? Like
Yeah.
this weekend, I had like I kind of finished up everything that I was working on Saturday at like 4,
Yeah.
and date night with Amanda was at like 7:30. So usually before I would have been like, well, it's not really worth going to anywhere because by the time I get there, I'll only have like 2 hours if I go to the mall or
Hmm.
go to play poker. But and then this weekend I was like, no, no, no. I need to stay active. Like even
Yeah.
I don't care if it takes me 20 minutes to drive to the casino and I can only play cards for 90 minutes and then I have to leave. It's still better than just sitting at home. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I did that and I really like that. I'm seeing value in the overall like idea of just staying active and just staying on the grind as opposed to being like, well, it's not worth it to go and drive 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, like during my first transformation I did, that's what happened with me. I realized that when I was just active, whether it's just like taking my dog to the park or just going to the mall, like you're saying, just go take a walk.
Or just going to have coffee with somebody.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, sometimes I'm like, it's probably a waste of time. Let me just sit down and like lay down. But once you're like in that state where you're just not mobile, there's so much temptation to go to the kitchen and even if you're not eating, even if you kind of like in my situation, I kind of got rid of most of the bad foods. You're still at the end of the day, it's like it's calories in versus calories out.
Yeah.
So even though they're like healthy options, if you're just not at home as often, then you're kind of just you're busy. You're on the and also if you're busy, you're walking, you're burning a little bit extra calories, so that helps in that sense. So yeah, being active helps a lot, and that's what I'm doing now too. Like I actually have like the same thing. You have like the walking pad.
Like you saw me today.
Yeah.
I was on a call. I got stuck on a call. We were supposed to film 2 hours ago.
Mhm.
We just started filming 20 minutes ago because I had an hour-long phone call, and so I got like a 30-minute walk-in because why not?
But today I was feeling kind of lazy, and I know if I had that walking pad next to me, I would have just like got up and walked, even with the headache. It's just like headache in the morning. I'm like, I'm kind of lazy right now, and that kind of made me like not decide to go downstairs. But yeah, like you said, so for like $100, it's like the best thing because
Dude, that's the best $100 you'll ever spend because
yeah,
it's not just about the steps. It's about staying in. It's about the momentum.
mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
about staying in motion.
Yeah.
Like when you're in motion, you're more likely to do other things
Mm-hmm.
versus when you sit down, you're like, man, like you said, man, like I just won't,
Yeah.
when I'm up and I'm walking, like if somebody calls me out of the blue that like I should probably take their call, but I could get away with like not taking their call.
Yeah.
If I'm like up and I'm out and I'm like fully oxygenated and I'm walking around, I'll take the call and I'll just knock it out as opposed to being like, I'll call them back like when it suits me.
And ever since we started this journey again, I mean, most of my life, I've always been the type of person that likes to be active, whether it's, and not necessarily like clubbing or partying. I enjoy that, like, obviously not that much anymore, but like, I like going to like the shooting range or like going to like a dance class or whatever, because I like dancing like salsa and bachata, also because of girls. But
Yeah,
it's
of
also
course.
cool. It's also like a cool little activity.
I think that it's not just about like getting healthy and getting in shape,
Mm-hmm.
although that's a huge piece. I think there's something super fundamental about staying active, both physically active and like mentally active throughout the day, like that makes you feel amazing at the end of the day. Like when you wake up early
Yeah.
and you fucking go all day, you take little breaks. Of course, you're not going to like work 14 hours straight,
Mhm.
super focused, whatever.
Yeah.
But like you take a few breaks here and there, but you keep going and you keep going and you keep going, and you work, and then you play with your kids, and you do more work, you work out, you do this work, you really like the feeling of putting in like a full 16-hour day of constant activity. When you finally lay down, like,
You get the best
that's
sleep.
the best feeling. Like, it's,
Yeah.
of course you get amazing sleep, but like you just feel so good about yourself. You feel, I'm sure, get some sun, you get some
Yeah.
exercise, you do a ton of work, you socialize, you do all these things like a full fucking day.
Hmm.
That's like, to me, that's what like happiness is.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, like on the opposite end of that, like I've had, especially in the last few years, a lot of like downtime. So it's a big difference because I've had a lot of days where I'm just not doing anything. I'm not doing crap for the day.
Yeah.
And then I feel like, man, I feel a little bit depressed. And it's because I haven't had sunlight. I'm not active. I'm not moving around. I'm not being maybe, I'm not like, I wouldn't consider myself like antisocial. Like I feel like I'm pretty social with people and I communicate well and have good conversations. But sometimes I tend to be more of a loner, I guess.
Yeah,
You
we're
know,
similar in that sense.
yeah. So like I honestly, I have a good I guess I would say a good amount of people in like my network, and I have a lot of friends that I've always, that I've grown up with. But for the most part, I only spend like time talking to the people that I'm working with, like you and my other buddy.
The humans got to where we are at the top of the food chain by constantly moving,
Yeah,
sharpening blades, making
hmm,
fire, building houses,
yeah,
hunting wild game. Those are the kind of things that got us to where we are. So for people to think that, like a good day is just sitting on the beach all day and drinking margaritas,
yeah,
it's potentially that can make you feel good too, especially if you're with people and you go swimming and you get a lot of sun and
hmm,
you know but like just doing nothing, burning no calories and eating like really rich foods and just sitting there, that's like, yeah, I mean, maybe you could do it a little bit. Like I still think I would enjoy doing that once in a while,
yeah, yeah.
but
Once in a
especially
while.
when you're just like, if you've really been crushing it, you know what I mean, for weeks and weeks and weeks, to take like a day where you just rest and stuff. um but the happiness for me comes from just like a really full day of positive experiences.
Yeah, like when your day's full of fulfillment, you accomplish certain goals or you're like on track. Like in this situation with our 100 days, we're not perfect, but we're progressing and we're learning each day. Like, okay, I have to work on this, or I'm learning this habit, or like that breakthrough you had last week when we had this, during the podcast. So it's yeah, it's just all about being active, continuing, and not being, I guess, too hard on yourself.
I have a suspicion that my maintenance, right now I'm at 2,000 calories a day,
Hmm.
and I have a suspicion that my maintenance is actually like 2,700. So we're gonna find out this week. If I do 2,000 calories every single day this week, strict,
Yeah,
and I go down, by 5 pounds, then I'll be able to do the math. Then really I'm at like
but this
3,200.
week, are you going to like increase the step count a little bit from last week?
I'm not gonna increase my step count. I might increase it a teeny bit. I might add, like, actually, I added a half an hour very moderate walk just now, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna increase my step count like a tiny bit.
Okay.
Um, but mostly I'm going to stick to the 2,000 calories a day
Just to see like the difference between this week and last week.
and see, and I want to come up with like a new. I want to like really calculate my maintenance this week and see how much weight I lose.
Yeah.
Because this morning was good. It was like I hadn't eaten anything. I peed. I have a good, really good, clean baseline weight to start the week.
Yeah.
And if I can really stick to the 2,000 calories a day, then I'll be able to calculate my maintenance pretty efficiently and effectively.
So right now on like walking, what is like your average, like, I guess, time per day when you're walking?
If you, I mean, I can look at my health. Let's see, my phone. This okay. So basically, I'm at around like 7,000 steps a day.
Okay.
but this doesn't take into account my cardio because my phone just when
Yeah,
I
it
do
just
my
sits.
when I do my treadmill, my phone just sits on the machine and it doesn't know that I'm walking.
Okay.
So I'm doing 7,000 steps a day plus a 30-minute incline walk. Um, so that's probably 6,000 steps there incline. So it's more.
Yeah.
Um, so and then I walked on the walking pad today, and I don't think I had my phone in my hand. I might have. I'm not sure actually. Let's
Yeah.
see. Because then if I had my phone in my hand, then yeah, I think it did because I'm already at 6,000 and the day's only like half over. So
Okay.
I'll probably be at 10. Why you're just curious about figuring out my maintenance and stuff?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to know like what your average was, and then let's say in the future, next week or so, if you feel like you need to like up your steps.
Yeah, like in the first 3 weeks of our challenge, I probably basically just did almost no. I did a 30-minute incline walk, and that was my like. And then I just did my normal amount of walking, like just
Yeah.
walking around life. I didn't do any real walks.
Okay. Okay.
A teeny bit at the mall when I went shopping with my wife. Like another like I think a normal day for me of walking, just a normal day is 6,000 or 7,000 steps.
That's pretty good.
Just like that's just normal. That's just like
Yeah.
how much walking I do in a normal day of my life. Walking to my car, walking around. I do pace a lot. Like even when I don't have my walking pad,
Yeah.
if I tend to pace on all my phone calls,
Mm-hmm.
which is good. That's probably 2 or 3,000 steps there.
Yeah.
Just pacing around in circles as long as I'm in an area that's big enough to. I'm getting used to that where I don't even like sitting down and being on the phone anymore. Like I have to walk.
You could just like add an hour or so, and it'll probably make a big difference. Because per hour, like I don't walk crazy fast. I walk at a speed of, depending on certain treadmills, between 2.5 to 3.5, and that gives me roughly like 6,000 to 6,300 extra steps in an hour. So like later, if you add that 6,000 steps, it's not like a big difference on your day, and you could probably add that in spurts, throughout the day for yourself.
Yeah, a few phone calls is 45
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, so that'll probably make a big difference in like later on when you're trying to drop a little bit of extra weight.
Yeah, so let's try and do we're done we're about an hour now in. So what I definitely want to do now is I want to probably film Thursday. So I want to do like a mini episode on Thursday. We'll just do like check-ins and stuff because
Okay.
I'll have like a decent idea as long as I'm super strict the next 3 days. Today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning. I'll have like a halfway point of the week, and we'll see how I'm trending. So
Okay. Not like
I haven't
killing
even
yourself
been
right now.
I haven't been laser focused yet.
Yeah, like right now you're not killing yourself. You don't feel drained, and there's a lot of progress to be made.
Like I feel that I'm gonna start having like my photos. We'll put the photos in for you guys to see.
Yeah.
I have 2 photos really. So yeah, because I have the photo from I have more, but I'm doing a weight and a day number photo right all in one in my Instagram stories. So it's a good way for me to track it.
Yeah.
I feel like my photos still don't have like that wow factor at all yet.
Yeah.
I think two more weeks of like really really sharp of dedication and focus. I think I'll be able to show that picture to someone and be like, "Whoa,
Yeah, I think
you've
like
been doing good."
yeah, I think once you like surpass the 10 to 12 pound limit, that's when you start seeing like the big difference.
Yeah, then it's like 10 pounds is 5% of my body weight. So
Yeah.
then you start really noticing a difference. So, all right, so we're going to shoot again in a Thursday. So 72 hours from now, and we'll see how much progress we both can make. So anything, what are you going to do? I'm going to just stick to my 2,000 calorie perfect macros and add a teeny bit of steps. That's my plan.
I'm just going, because of last week, because I stubbed my toe, I'm just going to go back to my regular step count and just see how I do.
All right. Well, I'm actually really pumped. I'm about to go get my cardio on right now, but I'm looking forward to seeing, I think the mini week check-in is good too, having a little midweek check-in just to kind of stay laser focused and not kind of be mediocre the first few days of the week and then perfect in the second few days. Like, really want to keep it dialed in the whole time. So
Yeah.
that's a wrap.
All right. Until next time.